almost a weekly, possibly sometimes a daily occurrence of a new threat from Donald Trump to put tariffs on Canadian products, this time concerning Canadian-made business jets made exclusively by Bombardier. Of course, Bombardier, a very big Quebec aerospace company that a few years ago got out of the passenger aircraft business, sold off its C-Series jets to Airbus. They're now flying as the A220, but it continues to make Global Express executive jets. Those are made in Mirabel in Quebec. Also, there's a factory not too far from Pearson Airport in Toronto where some of the wings are assembled there. In fact, the Prime Minister visited there last fall, took a tour of that facility. But now, Donald Trump, in a tweet last night, I'm going to read it to you, says, based on the fact that Canada has wrongfully, illegally, and steadfastly refused to certify Gulfstream 500, 600, 700, and 800 jets. Gulfstream is a competitor to Bombardier. Trump says, we are hereby decertifying the Bombardier Global Express. That's their main product right now, this business jet, and all aircraft made in Canada. And then Trump goes on to say that he's going to charge Canada a 50% tariff for any and all aircraft sold into the United States if the situation isn't resolved. So what is happening here? Well, as I said, Bombardier makes the Bombardier makes the Global Express business jet, and it's very popular around the world. It's an expensive aircraft, purchased sometimes by airlines, but often by corporations as a way of traveling their executives around. And it's a competitor to the American-based company Gulfstream. And Trump is complaining that Transport Canada has not yet, in his view, certified some of the new models that Gulfstream is producing, and saying he's going to now decertify all Canadian aircraft in the United States. If he was actually to do that, essentially pull the certification of all these aircraft that Bombardier has sold into the United States, it would cause havoc with the Canadian or with the U.S. aviation system. It would ground thousands of aircraft, including potentially those A-20. The White House now clarifying today that he means new certifications. So if there's new aircraft that need to be certified in the United States, he's not going to do that. So that would cause less chaos with that. Bombardier also putting out a statement today saying that thousands of private and civilian jets built in Canada fly in the U.S. every day. We hope this is quickly resolved to avoid a significant impact to air traffic. Is there any truth to what Donald Trump is saying, that somehow Transport Canada, which is responsible for certification and registration of aircraft in Canada, is trying to put its finger on the scale in favor of a Canadian company, Bombardier, at the expense of Gulfstream? Well, this is something that's happened all around the world. Usually, when a new aircraft is produced, the country in which it's made is responsible for certification of it. That is to say, this is approved, this is safe, this is airworthy, and typically other countries recognize that certification. So if the Federal Aviation Administration certifies a Gulfstream jet, then Transport Canada would do the same. In this case, though, however, there's been some delays with this, some concerns from Transport Canada, and this is something that's been going on really since the Boeing 737 MAX issue. Remember those two series plane crashes they had involving one model of the 737? That led to a lot of reviews around the world about the FAA's certification process. That is likely what the delay is here. But, you know, it's just another example of Donald Trump using the powers of government, including aviation safety, now to try and achieve commercial objectives, that is helping an American aviation manufacturer at the expense of a Canadian aviation manufacturer. We'll watch on Parliament Hill today to see if the transport minister or anyone else speaks on this, to get some feedback on this, and whether or not this situation is going to persist, and whether Trump is actually going to make good on this threat to put these new tariffs on Canadian-made business jets.